guys and welcome to my channel. I am Beth, the bookworm trait, and I'm here with you today to show you my January book haul. So January is supposed to be the month when everyone is skint and people aren't buying themselves loads of things. How many books did I haul this month? 15? In my defence, I did not purchase all of these books. I received some in a book swap and I also bought one from a charity shop. So that is progress. So without further ado, let's get into the haul. The first books that I bought were the Infernal Devices series. I promised myself I was never ever going to read another Cassandra Clare book after The Mortal Instruments. There are not words for how much I hated that series, and this was back in a time where I wasn't a particularly picky reader. So over Christmas I ran out of Audible credits and I just wanted to listen to an audiobook, and I'd been searching for ages, I was tired, there was limited options through my library. But one of the things that they had was the Clockwork Angel, and I thought, why not give it a go? I surprised myself by really loving this series. Siri, shut up! I surprised myself by really enjoying A Clockwork Angel, and so as soon as I finished it I went out and bought all 3 books in the series. Because why not? I'm not going to explain to you what these books are about. If you are a regular on BookTube then you obviously know this is Shadowhunters. So yeah, if you don't know, go and look it up. The next 2 books that I bought were for the Winter Bibliothon. So that was Empress of All Seasons and The Graveyard Book. So starting with Empress of All Seasons, this is an Asian inspired fantasy about a girl called Mari who is like a demon. So Mari is something called an animal wife. The animal wives are very beautiful women who can transform into these hideous creatures, and they go out and they marry rich men and steal all their money and then go back to their village. Mari is not beautiful and she can't fully transform either, so she's kind of, as far as her village think anyway, useless. Because of course, only pretty women can seduce men. Because Mari is seen as being unable to go out and seduce a man because she's plain, she has been training for her whole life to become the Empress of All Seasons, and to do that she has to battle through 4 seasonal themed rooms, and if she wins all the rooms she will become the Empress. Sounds good, right? It's not good. We didn't like this one. I also got the Graveyard Book. So the Graveyard Book is about a boy called Bod Owens. When he is a very small child, his family are murdered and he's brought up in a graveyard by ghosts. It's just as weird as it sounds. This was my first Neil Gaiman book and it wasn't my favourite, I've got to be honest. This is a middle grade story which just follows the life of Bod Owens as he kind of grows from a small child into a young teenager, and I think because this was middle grade I kind of found it a little bit difficult to connect with. I then received 6 books as part of a book swap. I haven't read any of these and I don't know a great deal about them, so I am going to just run through them quite quickly. So we have The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender, which is about a girl who has wings, and it's about her trying to connect with society and find out why it is that she has wings. I believe that this is magical realism and I am actually really looking forward to reading this. I would probably predict that I would give this book 5 stars, so we will see. We have The Queen's Poisoner. This is about a duke who is captured by an evil king, and it is about his times at court trying to stay on the king's good side. We have Looking for JJ, which is about a child who gets lost in the woods. I'm assuming this follows the events of what happens after this. It is actually set 6 years after this, so I don't really know what this is about, but it sounds interesting. We have He Said, She Said, which is about a couple who witness a brutal attack. Based off of the title, I'm guessing they both have slightly different stories as to what happened. Wish Me Dead, which is one of the ugliest books I now own. But this does sound really interesting. This is about a girl who finds a witch and begins to make wishes, but people start dying. And the final book that I received in the book swap was Time Travelling with a Hamster. This is about a boy who wants to go back in time to save his father's life. So I was so grateful to receive all of those books from my book swap buddy, and I think they all sound really interesting and they are all things that I would have picked up myself, so she did a really good job. When buying her books, I picked up one for myself, which is The Tethered Mage, and I got this from a charity shop. This is a high fantasy political series. This is exactly the type of book that I love, and on top of all of that it has got a gorgeous crow on the cover, which is my favourite animal. I'm also a Fairy Loot subscriber, so I got this gorgeous book from Fairy Loot this month, which was Circle of Shadows. This is another Asian inspired fantasy about a girl and her demon who are trying to break into a group of elite warriors, or join a group of elite warriors, and stuff happens. This has got some of the most beautiful sprayed edges of any book I own. I also got the second book in the Nevermore series, Wondersmith. This is what it looks like naked, and it is stunning. Just what? I don't know where the cover is. As soon as I got it, I took the cover off, and it is currently displayed like this on my bookshelves. I can't get over how gorgeous this is. I bought Nevermore for my goddaughter for Christmas, and I actually read it before I gave it to her, which I think is a bit cheeky, but she didn't care because she's a kid. It was so good. It was such a cute little story. As someone who doesn't always connect with middle grade books, I really enjoyed it. And so I had to buy this stunning edition of the second book in the series. I have also reordered the first book in hardback format. It's just on back order, sadly, so it hasn't arrived this month. Obviously this is the second book, so I can't tell you what this one is about, but the first book, Nevermore, is about a girl called Morrigan Crow who is cursed, so she causes bad things to happen to people. On her, I think it's her 13th birthday, it's either 13th or 11th, but she's supposed to die. Instead, a ginger guy called Jupiter, and he's described as being very ginger, whisks her off to this magical place and wants her to join this elite academy. So Wondersmith follows what happens after Nevermore. Read Nevermore and then you'll know what this one's about. I also purchased This Raging Light by Estelle Lore, I don't know how to pronounce it. This follows a teenage girl who has fallen in love with her best friend's twin brother. At the same time, her mother has abandoned her, and she is now responsible for bringing up and providing for her younger sister. This just sounds like a really cute contemporary. I did actually buy this for Contemporary-a-thon, but I didn't check what any of the challenges were before I bought it, and now it doesn't really fit with any of the challenges, so I'm probably not going to read this in February. I also got Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I own Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, haven't read it, so why not buy another book by the same author when I don't even know if I like her writing. Clever. Real clever. I thought the premise of this book sounded really interesting. So it's about two women in an office who are exchanging emails about their lives. The IT guy is reading all their emails every night and realises that he has fallen in love with one of the women. However, at this point, it's a bit creepy of him to then turn around and say, hey, I've read all your emails and I am in love with you. So it's kind of following what happens with that. But I just thought this sounded really cute and really interesting. Again, purchased this for Contemporary-a-thon without checking what any of the challenges were, and it doesn't really fit with any of the challenges, so not sure when I will get round to reading this one, but I think it looks really cute and I think it sounds really cute, so I am excited for this. I'm not really much of a contemporary reader, so I'm not sure why I bought two contemporaries this month. The next book I purchased is God's Grave by J. Kristoff. Which is the second book in the Nevernight trilogy. I listened to Nevernight on audiobook and oh my god, it was so freaking good. I purchased this obviously to continue with the series, but I think I am going to read Nevernight before I read this because I just really want to reread it because I loved it, and I just want to reread it. There's nothing else to it. I just want to reread it, then read this. But I'm not sure if I'm going to wait till a little bit later in the year because obviously God's Grave isn't out till September. This brings me to my final book of the month. This was a bit of a strange purchase for me. I was watching a video on Becca and the Books and she was reading a manga called Goyo by Junji Ito, I think is his name. The artwork in it looked really cool and I've been wanting to try a manga for a long time, but the fact that it's in black and white has really put me off. But seeing some of the illustrations in Goyo kind of made me just feel like I should just give it a go, and if I don't like it, I don't have to read it ever again. So I bought one of these mammoth, I mean this is humongous, mangas. So I went with Tomi, and it's a tome. But with Tomi, which is about a female succubus who dies and then she comes back to life. Every time she dies, she comes back to life and she like thrives off dying. Or it sounds weird. It sounds interesting. I've read a couple of pages and I'm finding it really confusing. But I want to just try and read it and just see if this is a format that I can enjoy or if I am right and manga is not for me. We will see. Oh, it's heavy. So that was all my books that I received or bought in January. I am now going to try and put myself on a bit of a book buying ban because I don't really have much more space for any books and I don't need any more books. I do have quite a few things on pre-order, so obviously I'm not going to cancel those. But I'm going to try and read what I already have before I start purchasing anything new. That being said, I have a problem, so that might not happen. So that's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know, and I will hopefully see you again. Bye!